Okay, we are recording. Good. Hello,
Excellent.
everyone, and welcome to Pathways to Wellbeing, presented by SacredU, a global community empowering women all over the world. My name is Helen Prince, and I'm very pleased today to be chatting with Candida Basello. Nice to meet you, Candida. How are you?
I'm fabulous. Thank you, Helen. Lovely to meet you too. And thank you so much for inviting me on your show. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm looking forward to talking to you because uh, what you do, and we will drill down into this a little bit more, is helping women who have essentially lost their sense of self. And I think a lot of women are going to really resonate with this. I know that there was a time in my life, after I had my kids, actually, where I didn't know who I was, and I didn't identify with who I was. I couldn't, there was a real disconnect. And that's the sort of thing that you're able to help people with. Is that right?
It is, but also I'd like to say it's not only women, it's men. And the disconnect can start very, very, very early in childhood. That's what I have found. I have a broad range of clients and a broad range of things that I use, like techniques and strategies and things that I use and modalities that I use, because for myself, I think it started very, very early. I'm a immigrant from Italy in the 1950s, so I was 3 when we came from Italy, and that brought a whole range of things, that a 3-year-old would absorb into the subconscious, and none of it was actually very good, as such, if you're going to, not that I like to talk about good or bad, but life presents everybody with all sorts of different things. And generally I have found in my work that, I understand you were saying your major sort of that you were aware of, your disconnect came at a later stage, but often we carry these things with us from children, we don't know. And it's not until something doesn't work in our life that we start to think, well, why isn't it? And then we start to explore.
That's really interesting you say that because, yeah, that's right. There has to be some sort of trigger to bring us into that awareness.
Yes.
And so, talk to me more about that. You've been working with people for more than 30 years, so you've got a huge amount of
Yeah.
experience in this field.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the things if, people are listening to this and they're wondering, I guess we kind of have an idea, but what are the sorts of things that indicate that you are perhaps starting to come into that realization or you're just not feeling yourself?
Okay, so I can give you an example of some clients, a different range of clients. So one I'm thinking of is a young man. He came to me several years ago. He was 27, beautiful young man, but so riddled with anxiety and that he couldn't even make the appointment himself, right? And but he did come to the appointment, but he was so anxious that he couldn't get out what it is he wanted me to do. Like he would, I could see like the breathing, I could see all his breathing, and he couldn't get the words out. And so I had no idea how to help him right at that moment. So one of the things that I employ, which is magic, it's actually gold and magic, and I do this, like I'm also a yoga teacher, so I do it in my yoga class as well. I said, all right, let's call this guy Alex, okay? It's not his real name, but we just called him Alex. And I don't, you're probably familiar with heart-mind coherence meditation or
Yes.
not?
But for people who are not, can you give
Yes.
a little bit of description of
Okay.
what that means?
So what we do is I just asked him to stop, close his eyes, and I asked him would he be okay to close his eyes and all of that, and he did. And so with slow breathing, it's just I talked him through slow breathing and then shifting his awareness into his heart and touching his heart, because when we touch a part of our body, our awareness goes to it like straight away. And then to think of something that he was grateful for, anything that the first thing that came to mind, and then expand that feeling with each breath, and then expand that feeling like through his heart, through his body, and then from his body. And that process was magic for him as well, because from that he was able then to tell me what he wanted from me, and what he wanted for himself, for his life. So I don't want to labor that story, but what happened from there? So I had this beautiful young man from that point. Within 6, and he couldn't even go, he hadn't even gone to the movies on his own, right? Or done anything, couldn't be in groups of people, couldn't do anything like that, but wanted to, and he wanted to have a life, right?
Yeah.
So coming from that point, and with various things that we did each week, and he came each week, and then we went to 2 weeks. Within 6 months, he had booked an overseas holiday, solo holiday, to 2 countries
Wow.
overseas. How phenomenal is that, right?
Amazing.
I know. And so that's just one example. But
I love that.
yeah, but
Yeah.
what we discovered in that was that the speaking thing, that was something back in childhood when he was about 4 or 5. Now, we couldn't get to that through normal the coaching process that I use. So I knew he was stuck. So I asked, would he be open to hypnotherapy? And he was. And through hypnotherapy, he remembered a teacher stopping him from speaking at some point. It was a harsh, I don't know, the children, we have a child's worldview at 4 or 5, which is not necessarily accurate, and we take it all on itself, right?
Yes.
And which is what he did. And from then, because I asked him, how long has this been going on? Oh, all my life. So it was by using also the hypnotherapy that we got to that, and then he was able to move forward, and from there, he's flying, so that's amazing.
I love that. And I love that you've got so many tools in your toolbox that
Yeah,
you can just pull out the one that is applicable for the person who is sitting in
yeah,
front of you. And I
yeah,
think that is an incredibly powerful thing to be able to do.
yeah, yeah.
And to be able to change his life. You set it on a completely different trajectory.
I
That's
know. I
amazing.
know, he was such a beautiful soul, but he was so stuck. When you said,
Yeah.
being stuck and not knowing who you were, but wanting to have a life, but not being knowing how. Like,
Mm.
um, yeah. So that's just
And
one
and I think
example.
yeah, and I think a lot of people do get to that point. We don't necessarily know what we want. We're quite good at knowing what we don't want, but how do you find that way forward? And you've got lots of different tools that you help people to do that. So your typical client, is there a typical client? What are they essentially, where are they when they're coming to you? What's going on in their life where they're then finding you?
All right. So often they don't come to me. This young man did for that reason. But
Mm,
often I find people come, like years ago, this lady came to me because when I started 30 years ago, I started as a massage therapist, as many of us do, so massage, then I moved, everything skyrocketed after that. So I will do a little bit of massage when it's necessary, right? So some years ago, this lady came to me and she wanted to have a massage because she said, oh, I'm so stressed out. And I said, okay. That's it. Oh, tell me, why are you stressed out? Normally, I think if you go to massage therapist, you're stressed. Okay, get on the table. But I found
yeah.
myself asking her these questions, and it just came, And then all this stuff came out about she was a biggish lady. She wanted to reduce weight. She wasn't happy with herself in that way. She had an autistic son. Things weren't great with her husband's family and her. And within a few minutes, and all she came for, as far as I knew, was a massage. Within a few minutes, all this thing came to light. So I did give her the massage, but during that, I spoke with her and I said, um, what was making her unhappy mostly was her weight. And I said, we can do hypnotherapy for that if you're open to it. Yes, great. But she also kept coming because of the drama with her husband's family and how to sort all that out as well. And then what got my attention was the autistic son, because she felt that they didn't want outside help with that. They wanted to try and manage it themselves. And I could see this little boy slipping through the cracks and not being able to manage life.
Yeah.
So I knew of a psychotherapist that worked with children. And so I told her about him. I said, would you be willing, he'll come to your home, which he did. She said, yes, he did. And then he not only worked with a child, but it was a whole family dynamic. So from
Yeah.
her coming for just wanting a massage, I was like, okay.
That's fantastic because you clearly have that open, safe energy that
Yeah,
people feel comfortable to be able to open up to a complete stranger going for a massage. So I think that's a beautiful quality to have. And trusting your own intuition. I'm just going to ask this question because it's popped into my head. And trusting that I think is quite powerful as well in the
yes,
realm that you work in. And,
yes,
the results speak for itself, how
yes,
everything just unfolds the way it's meant to. And I
yeah,
love synchronicities like that.
yes,
I
I
think
know.
they're beautiful.
Amazing. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I have clients that come to me for things because I actually do physical modalities as well. Like I do Bowen therapy, lymphatic drainage, acupressure, and I'm a Reiki master. So I run Reiki in days, training days. But a lot of people come for back issues and also like knee replacements and cancer, like lymphedema from cancer and all of that. So I also treat, but within that, there's always something else. I
yes,
will treat that, but then other stuff comes up. Um,
that's right. Because everything is connected. Our
yeah,
thoughts, our emotions, our physical, everything has this little flow on effect. And
yeah,
what you were saying before as well, it's also our environment
mm,
that plays into it. Mm. It's fascinating. I love it. I love it. And
yeah.
this might seem like a weird question, but I'm going to ask it
That's
anyway.
okay. Go for it.
Why is it so important for people to really put themselves and their well-being and their own happiness first and just reach out and do something about it? Why is that so important that we do it? And why don't we do it as well?
I believe that lack of self worth is at the basis of everything, pretty much. Because if we knew who we were, we wouldn't do any. Our world would not be in this state if we knew. And so I believe that self knowing, self love, and self care are the most powerful things that we can um, do, aspire to, and be, and be, because once we know ourselves, we begin to know who we are, who we truly are. Because once we get through the layers, like there's the layers of the life stuff that I was talking about before, to say that you can't speak or you're not okay, you came from Italy, you're a this and you're a
Yeah.
that, and and that resonates as true for us as children. Once we can the knowing of ourselves comes to working with those things and asking, is that really true? What's the deeper
Mm,
truth there? Is that really true? And through all of that releasing and letting go and like spiritual intelligence, emotional intelligence, growing into ourselves in that way, we come to see who and we come to see and we come to feel, we embody, wow, I'm much more than what I thought I was, like all these synchronicities that happen, that didn't come from me. That just came from, well, not me, the physical human me. Do you know what I'm saying? It somehow, it energies entangled and it happened,
yeah.
because synchronicities can't happen if you're not of that kind of matching thing, vibration, right? So to answer your question, if we don't know who we are, if we don't get to know who we truly are, and there's various levels of that, right? There's and every level is just as integral and important, you know, as the other. And so there's no higher or lower. I don't think we can possibly be like improve our world, but I think this is happening. People are starting to discover who they are and who they truly are at whatever level works for them, right? Or whatever level they are ready for, and
Mm,
whatever they have released to make space for that, because it's always there. It's not like it's not there and then it comes in. It's this, who we are is always there, but it gets buried, you know, and as we throw things off, it's like when you, you know, like I was going to say, when it's, because it's been hot here, you throw off the covers, you know, and you throw off the blanket, you throw off the sheet, you know, and you throw off all these things, and you're making space for the other part to expand within us, because it's there. We just have to allow it to, and it expands through the heart. And this heart meditation I was talking about, if you like, and if we have time, I don't know, it will only take like 2 minutes. I could take us through that exercise, that heart expansion, and that would give the feeling of what it's like to begin to know who you are, you know, the energy and the vibration.
Absolutely. Let's do that just before we finish off. We'll do
Okay.
that heart meditation because I think everyone watching this will absolutely benefit from that. So that sounds amazing. So we'll definitely do that.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Does that answer
And
your
so,
question? I don't.
well, yeah, and I think it is important, and we've got you mentioned it before. We've got a lot of conditioning, a lot of things that we've just taken on as truth because we were too young to know to question. You know, everything we see and hear and experience when we're really, really young is just okay. We just take it on. There's not the emotional intelligence. There's not the maturity or anything like that to go, well, hang on a minute, that doesn't sound right. We don't do that. So there are a lot of things that are piled upon us. And I think part of what stops people from putting themselves first is because we are conditioned to believe that that is wrong. You know, you should think of others all the time, and we should always, I don't know, we tend to self sacrifice a lot. What's your take on that?
So again, it's a self-worth, you know, thing, because and also it's a contracted view, I believe, in that if we could understand, well, we've got the, you know, the airplane oxygen mask thing. I mean, that's not there for nothing, you know, that thing. And that's very true. If we pass out, we're not going to help our child, right? So if we're not well, so this worked very well in my life, this understanding. I was being a single parent from when my daughter was 2 and my son was 7. So my son is now 51. My daughter is 46, so a long time ago. But I knew, so there were pretty terrible circumstances at the time, which I didn't really care about myself that much. I thought I didn't, but I thought, but no, I have to be good for my children, right?
Mm,
But in being good for my children, I had to be good for myself, you know, and that meant being
yep,
healthy, that meant mentally alert, that meant, you know, our life, you know, what I wanted for our life, all of that kind of thing. But I had to be in optimum state in order for that to happen. And so I say to people that say to me, a lot of women typically say that, you know, yeah, I don't take care of myself. Well, if it were your child, what would you say to them? If your child was experiencing what you are, what would you say?
yep,
And that immediately turns it around, you know. But it's inherently this lack of self-worth thing, and like you said, the feeling that it is wrong, you know, being told things are right. A lot of that comes from religion, the religious upbringing and stuff. And I know I'm a Catholic survivor. um, and that's another conditioning and programming stuff that is deep, very, very, very deep. But if we rise above that, and if we know that we're more than that, we are not that, because those are thoughts that we think, and we are not the
yep.
thoughts that we think, and we can change those just like that, you know.
And that's the
So
beautiful part.
yeah, yeah. So just I think there has to be a willingness to self-reflect. There has to be a willingness to question your
Yes.
beliefs. Like, I believe this, but is it really my belief? Or why do I believe this? Is it really my belief? Or is that what somebody told me, or that I'm seeing on the TV or whatever? But is it really what I believe? You know, and this is an integral part. I also run retreats, you know, yoga and spiritual retreats. And a big part of the retreat process is beliefs and questioning those. Um, so I think it's not like a straightforward answer to your question. There's a whole range of things, and we don't all fit into all of them, but we might fit into one or two.
Yeah.
But looking at where your worthiness your undeservingness shows up in your life. Like it'll show up in some area that you're not happy with. So
Yeah.
perhaps that's the starting point. Look at where you're not happy, or things are not working the way you think they should or would like, and
Yeah.
then question what's my part in that? What's my part in that? Not what everybody else is doing. What's my role? What role am I playing in that? And I think that's a good starting point.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a great tip for anyone watching this, is because you need to have a starting point. Because sometimes we can feel like, oh, it's too hard, don't know where to go. So that is a fantastic tip, having that awareness. And it's not about blaming, it's not about judging.
No.
It's having that really impartial view and like you say, question. And if there's something in your life that's not working or you're unhappy, start there. And then, of course, there's people like you, and we'll have all your contact details below this video.
Yeah.
People can reach out to someone like you who has this incredibly decades and decades of experience to help them guide them through. Because that can be the other thing as well. I know certainly for myself, if I open Pandora's box, what's going to come out? And it can be
Yeah.
quite scary. And this
Absolutely.
is where leaning on people with your experience to be able to guide them.
Yes, yes. And knowing that they are safe, like knowing that they are safe, but also feeling the safety that
Yes.
within the container, that when I work with people, they'll sort of create like an energetic container of safety, because I think that's a big thing for all of us. We won't do
Yeah.
it's either fear or love, right? So we're afraid
Yes.
and we're not safe for some reason, or we're not, and it's the love, it's yeah.
Yeah.
It's a true
Beautiful.
honor actually to be working in this way.
Oh, absolutely. Because I imagine it would be incredibly fulfilling to be able to, like, the people that you've talked about, your clients, to be able to see that young man not to be able to speak, and now he's traveling the world by himself.
I know, yeah.
That would just, your heart must have exploded.
And every time, and this was years ago now, and every
Yeah.
time I think about it, it's just like it's just happening, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Beautiful.
yeah.
Beautiful. So you gave us one great tip. Is there anything else that you would recommend to people who are watching this, who are thinking, because we can get into, I guess, a little bit of what's the word that I'm looking for? We kind of settle as well. Oh, my life's not that bad. Other people have got it worse. I know I used to do this anyway. I would make excuses. I would justify how I'm okay and I shouldn't be so ungrateful. I should appreciate what I've got and not want for more. Do you have any advice for people who might be in that sort of mindset to be able to break out of that, to take the step forward? Because
Yeah.
you're saying, we're always giving something. Are we giving happiness or are we giving misery? Are we having a positive ripple or a negative ripple? And sometimes
Mm.
maybe we don't realize we're all role models to a
Yeah.
degree.
Yeah. Well, one way to look at it is that we have a responsibility to the energy that we bring to our family, to our life, to our environment, because we are electromagnetic beings, like the electro part is our thoughts go out in the form of photonic energy and waves and light, but they go out and they're powerful. And the magnetic is the emotions that we take in. Now we know, I think everybody knows what it's like to be in a room with someone that they don't understand why, but they cannot tolerate being around. Now, that is an example, a very clear example of how energy is. So if we are emitting the energies of dissatisfaction and unhappiness, I mean, we're going to feel unhappy at some stage, but it's about not
Yeah.
staying there too long. One thing that I would really recommend to get yourself, because it's one thing to know these things, but to get yourself into a path of starting and doing, because in order to change, we have to do something. We have to do
Yes, we
something to
do.
cause the change, right? So I would really recommend a morning routine, something that works for you every morning. And that routine So an example of that, I mean, I do a whole bunch of stuff. Are we all right for time? But
Yeah, absolutely.
um, I do a whole bunch of stuff, but just to condense it, really important thing is gratitude before I open my eyes. Gratitude for the beautiful day ahead, and gratitude for the good sleep, whether it was a good sleep or not, it was still a sleep, right?
Yeah,
And gratitude for that. And then um, I choose to be happy that day. For example, I can choose other things, but I choose that today I will be happy and make a choice. So we start, and then it's important, I think, to either to go outside if you can, or open a window or a door so that you're getting the morning freshness, and just breathe. And again, like the gratitude, um, and just feeling gratitude in your heart, which I will show us how that works when we do the thing at the end. And standing, if we stand like outside, if you don't have grass, wherever, whatever you've got outside, and with bare feet, so you're grounding, you're connecting to the earth.
right.
And just something like the gratitude is most important, and you can build on that. Like another thing is like just move your body a little bit. I do a few yoga things, but you can do anything to get the energy flow. Like I could do a whole segment on what to do in the morning that would work on your body, your mind, and your spirit, but I know we're time constricted a little bit here. So let your imagination go and what works for you. The important thing is the gratitude. Go outside, connect to the earth, and more gratitude.
Yeah.
Um, and that will change you. If you do that every day, you'll feel the changes.
And how long should people do that for?
I look, again, it depends on the time that you've got. You can do it for 3 minutes, five, if you can do
Yeah.
5. I mean, I do longer, but at this
I think
stage,
most people can spare 3 minutes.
yeah, I do longer now because I have the time now, and I'm in a position now where I can organise my day. Like I'm not working for someone and I have to be somewhere at 8 o'clock in the morning, that kind of thing. But I have been
Mhm.
there, and I still did it.
Yep.
I still did it, but it needs to work for you. It can't be
Yes.
something that you're forcing yourself to do.
Yeah, I think that's really important as well. Just, yeah, because if something works for somebody, that's fantastic. But if it doesn't work for
Yeah,
you and it ends up being a chore,
absolutely. Yeah,
then yeah, it's not going to work. And I love because there is so much variety, and people can obviously get in contact with you
yeah,
and find out, get some
absolutely.
ideas and
Yeah,
find out what's going to work for them. And I
yeah,
love what you said before, that it is a choice. You get to choose in every moment if I'm
indeed.
going to be happy. And obviously, we're not happy 24/7. That's unrealistic.
Mm,
However, we get to choose how long we stay unhappy as well.
exactly.
And when that actually sunk in, it was like the most empowering feeling that I think I've ever
It
had.
is.
That, what do you mean I get to choose?
Yes,
It
I
didn't
know.
make sense before, but when it really clicked into place, it was so incredibly freeing
Yes,
as well.
liberating. Yes, and
Yeah.
that unhappiness is there to tell us something. Like our
Yes.
feelings and emotions carry information. They're there to say something's out of balance here. You need to pay attention over here. Have a look over here. And because we're unhappy, we look at why we're unhappy. Or we that's what it's there for. But sometimes we don't, But
Yeah.
nothing's for nothing. Everything has purpose.
Exactly. And then make a change. You've got to take an action. You have to
Well, then
actually
you have the
do
choice.
something.
You can
Yeah.
choose to or not, but at least you've
Yeah.
chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And giving up is a choice as well.
Yes, and everything's okay. It's whatever you're ready for.
That's right. That's right. You don't have to be or do, or it doesn't have to look a certain way. I think that's really beautiful as well, because we're not all the same.
No,
We have these little subtle differences. Some are really big differences, but yeah, there's not a one size fits all. And I think that's what I love as well about with what you offer, because you have so many modalities that you've got to call on, and you've also got so much experience as well to call on, that you'll be able to help anyone in whatever situation they are get to where they want to be, which is ultimately to find their own happiness.
Thank you for saying that, because one of the issues that I have, because I do such a broad range of things, and I hear of the advertising marketing people saying, oh, you've got to narrow it down, you've got to narrow it down, like, who's your target audience? And everyone's my target. And it's like, oh, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this, you know? So thank you for recognizing that. Yeah.
That's okay. And look, it's one of those things. And yeah, I get it with the marketing. We need to be speaking, but this is where you can have one ad speaking to this particular person or speaking to this particular feeling, or keeping it a little bit broader, like, do you just want to feel happy? Do you feel lost? Do you want to feel reconnected? Those sorts of things. Uh, I don't know. I think a lot of people will resonate with that. And I think there are a lot of people actually looking for a solution as well. They may not necessarily know what it is, but the fact that you're looking for something, you will attract it. And so the
Yes.
people who need to see this will absolutely see this.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah.
Lovely. All
Yeah.
right. Well, before we do that meditation, is there anything else that you would like to add or leave the audience with?
Just to reiterate, and even if it doesn't make sense to you right now, but perhaps it will later, that the most powerful thing that we can do for ourselves and for others and for our planet and for even being here is to self-love, self-care, and self-know. To make that that I believe is our journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I believe that's the most powerful thing that we can do for all of us, as we are all one, that we are knowing that we are source. I am source, you are source, we are source, we are one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's really all we actually have control over is how we
Exactly.
feel about ourselves and how we show up. And the more that we can do that in that beautiful, loving way, it's what we're then sending out. It's what we're attracting back. It's what we're role modeling. It's giving other people permission to do it. And I believe that's how we're going to change the world.
Exactly. One person at a time. So as we do us, we because we can't do it any other way. We can't do
No,
it as,
we've all tried to change people,
Yeah.
and we all know what it's like when people try to change us, and
Yeah.
we don't like it.
Yeah.
So it works both ways. So let's just get our own house in order, and everything will work out from there.
It will, because the energy from us will expand and grow, and when there's lots of us doing the same, and there are lots of us, I believe, now doing
Yeah.
the same. It because energy moves. We know that energy moves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I've loved this
My pleasure.
conversation, and I'm very
Thank you.
excited now to experience this meditation. So I will hand it over to you.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. All right. So if you're comfortable, closing your eyes, but it's okay if you're not. And just take a long, slow, deep breath. And slowly exhale, just making your exhalation longer than your inhalation. Another long, slow inhale. And a very slow exhale. And if you're comfortable, just placing your hand on your heart. It's okay if you're not, but if you're comfortable. And I want you to shift your attention now from your thinking mind into your feeling heart. And just continue to breathe slowly. If that's difficult for you to do, the feeling heart, just imagine your physical heart. Have your attention on your physical heart. Just continue to slowly breathe with your attention on your physical heart. And as you're slowly breathing, slowly shift your attention to the center of your chest, where your energetic heart resides. And notice how it feels when you have your awareness on your energetic heart in the center of your chest. Notice the feeling. And now just recall a time or someone or something that you are grateful for. This can be anything. It can be a person, a place, a pet, a situation, just the first thing that comes into your mind that you are grateful for. And notice this feeling of gratitude in your heart. Notice how this feels, this feeling of gratitude in your heart. Or notice how it is starting to expand into joy. So you have gratitude and joy in your heart. And with each breath, expand this feeling of gratitude so that it fills your heart. And continuing to breathe, and again with each breath, expand this feeling of gratitude and joy until it expands from your heart and it fills your whole body. And you know that every cell in your body is completely filled with this high vibrational feeling of gratitude and joy. And as you continue to slowly breathe, expand this feeling more until it expands from your body, until it expands 3 feet in every direction from your body, and you are sitting in a sphere of your own heart energy. And just take a moment now to notice how this feels for you, sitting in your own heart energy. Very slowly now, just bring your awareness back to your body, to where you are, to the room that you are in, and when you are ready, you may open your eyes.
That was lovely.
It is, isn't it?
So,
It's like a magic formula. And I didn't make that up. Like, I don't take credit for that. I learned that the first person, I don't know if you're aware of Greg Braden. He's an amazing man. He's a scientist and spiritual teacher and all of that. So just to say I didn't make that up, but I use that all the time. Yeah.
well, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. And anyone watching this, save this recording and just, yeah, play that as often
Replay it.
as,
Yeah.
yeah, because I don't even know how to describe how I'm feeling. I just feel good.
I know. You've expanded, like it feels like, and like nothing, there's no problems, everything's great. And if to do that
Right. So, yeah,
every morning, imagine, how your day will go.
start your day on a high. That's beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah. And I can imagine using that at multiple times throughout the day.
Absolutely. Like, yes, as many times would be fabulous. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was
My
a
pleasure.
beautiful gift. I really appreciate it. That was
My pleasure.
lovely.
It's my absolute pleasure.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much. I really have enjoyed our conversation. And anyone who's wanting to really connect with themselves and getting to that love space, that self-love space, I really would urge them to reach out to you and have a conversation and just see where it takes you.
Thank you
Because at
so
the end
much.
of the day, we're here to enjoy our lives. And if we can spread that love and joy to other people, that's the sort of I want to say infectious. It's not the right word. That's the ripple we want to have, that beautiful, positive, loving ripple. And yeah, we'll change the world.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Helen. I've loved speaking with you. It's been fabulous.
You're welcome. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Lovely. Let me stop this recording.